Culprit, whatever his name is, here, and it is time for a a review of a music thingy. But first, before we get into that, real quick plug. Hey guys, the new shirts with my awesome face on it are in Noel, my singer-songwriter moniker. I had a little starter kind of test batch of these printed up, and if people liked them enough, I was going to possibly order more if I could get some pre-orders. People are loving them. I've only had 6 made, and I've had a bunch of people request them. So I'll make a video on that later, but just know if you want one, comment, and I'll figure out details on coloring and ordering later. Chuchesta, the new classic. CALassic, sorry, I'm saying that kind of fast. Chuchesta is an associate of very popular YouTube music reviewer Anthony Fantano, who goes under the alias The Needle Drop. That's the channel name he's by, but he is friends with Cal. I would say Cal is friends with him, but I think it's more of from my standpoint, it kind of seems like Anthony is piggybacking off Cal's popularity just a little bit in order to boost his own channel. I don't know for sure, but that's kind of what it seems like. But anyway, Cal has been making moves. I mean, for years now, and has put out some songs and has credits on some other projects, from what I understand. And this is his latest huge musical endeavor, the new CALassic. I mean, I'll just say it straight up. This is by far my favorite project that I've reviewed. Definitely this year, probably within the past year. 2014 going into this year. It makes To Pimp a Butterfly has been I don't know, maybe not my favorite rap project of the year, because the Prime, the DJ Premier and Royce da 5'9" thing was my favorite hip hop project of this year. But this mixtape trumps both of them and then supersedes. It honestly supersedes all the expectation that I had going into it. Like I knew it was good, and I knew he would bring it, because he does all the time, just based off freestyles and in interviews. He's very, he has a lot of conviction when talking about his music. But I did not expect for this kind of project to be dropped on us. The thing with the new CALassic is it is a concept album, and oftentimes concept albums are really, it's tedious and it's a big thing to take on. Especially for, if you're not used to concept albums. And the issue I had with it is the concept wasn't really clicking. It didn't seem like it was being executed enough until once Parody hit, it all just kind of fell into place, and then all the tracks before made sense on it, and it carries the whole thing through. Hidden in plain sight kind of thing. It's the mixtape is called the new CALassic, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what's, and I heard all this buzz. It's a concept mixtape. It's a concept album. What is the concept? The concept is Cal. Cal is, the new face of hip hop. He's the new face of love. He's the new face of the streets, and that's just evident throughout every song on this project. Be My Baby and the Coco remix, and both of the Duty messages, which I had to listen to those probably 15-16 times to even kind of understand what was going on, just because Cal just writes on a level that I don't think a lot of people are ready for. Like, it took me a good amount of listens to really understand this. So you've got bars all over this thing. Cal just slaughtering it. With everything he talks about, whether it be the Coco, or the hot dinner that he referenced in the earlier track, and just talking about how he needs his friends and he needs people to support him, and so he slaughters every bar he's on, except for the feature from Filthy Frank on Coco remix track number 4. That is the only time where I felt like Cal got outshined lyrically, is the Filthy Frank feature. Aside from that, everything else was just amazing. Mixing and mastering, flawless. Production, pretty good. The only beat that I didn't think was okay was, I think, the hot dinner one was pretty lame, in all honesty. Jalil Beats, Yeah, I know a lot of people have spit over this song, but even still, the more and more I hear it, just the whacker the beat gets to me, in all honesty. But the ones that Cal, it's not just that, it's not like, oh, well, Cal's a rapper, he's a beat maker too, and I talked about that earlier, and his beats honestly outshine the other productions from different producers on here, because you've got 88 Keys, you've got, Jalil Beats, you've got, 40 and Hit Boy. That's Drake's little camp right there. But Throwing Up on a Tuesday and the Coco remix, those two beats and the intro, just like, oh my gosh, like there's not a thing that he can't do. And it's not just that he's lyrical too. Like, as far as style goes with flow, he can adapt. Like, naturally, his natural flow reminds me of some more old school stuff, like a Vanilla Ice or a Young MC. Third Base, even some of like, Will Smith stuff, and not like Fresh Prince, but Will Smith stuff, and that's evident by, the Getting Jiggy freestyle that he did on that radio show that they put on here. But he can just adapt so well, like I said, his natural style is the old school stuff, but he can also, do some of that newer ATL and drill type flow and pull it off just effortlessly, and make it lyrical all at the same time, and that's so hard of a task to do. In all honesty, my only issue with this whole project, it's almost like it's too good to be true. Like, the album art is amazing, the beats are banging, the lyrics are incredible, and just that whole thing of ad-libbing. Like talking with his own ad-libs. I've only heard, like maybe one or two other rappers do that, but they didn't pull it off with this kind of finesse. It's not long enough. It's not long enough. You've got 16 tracks on here, a couple bonus tracks, and I honestly wouldn't have minded if, this thing went into like the 28, 29, maybe even somewhere around 36 tracks. Like, that to me would have been enough. And, I really feel like this is going to be one of those trend-setting independent products. We've seen it with Travis Scott, we've seen it with Migos and Young Thug, with this generation. But I think this is going to be the one that not only changes the sound, but also shifts the focus from just stupid crap that is rapping about nothing back to the roots and the real meaning of hip-hop, and that's the message and the community and the world that we live in. Like I said, best project so far, that I've reviewed this year. It definitely bumps in the whip. It definitely bumps in the whip. It really does, though. It's gonna be bumping in the whip. It's gonna be in rotation heavily, and it beats out Kendrick. It beats out Prime. It beats out J. Cole. Just everything about this past year from hip hop. That I thought was really dope. This trumps it all. And if it does, part of me is like waiting for it to get that Grammy nomination, but at the same time, I know the Grammys don't appreciate art like this. This project is just too ahead of its time, in all honesty. But at the same time, if Cal would have waited to drop it when we were ready, it would have never been released. So overall, I'm feeling an A++. I mean, you'd have to come up with a new letter, I think, to really nail the significance and the depth and the creativity and the execution of this project, this single project. Let me know what you want me to review next. But fantastic, dude. Fan-freaking-tastic.